Hey, beautiful people. So today we're going to be talking about the 5 ways to know when it is time to leave your relationship. So let's get into it. So number 1, it's time to leave the relationship if you've constantly and continuously communicated what your needs are to your partner and it seems like it's falling on deaf ears. So a lot of people may talk to you about the 5 love languages. Those of you who are familiar with that, I think a lot of times you can get with a partner and your love language is different than their love language. So they're trying to love you based on how they like to be loved. Maybe your partner loves to receive gifts, so then they get you gifts. But what you really need is quality time, or what you really need is words of affirmations. So no matter how many gifts they give you, they're thinking that you feel love, but you don't. You're missing those key components that you actually need. So it's important to sit down and have those conversations and express those needs clearly. That way your partner knows what you need versus what they need. But if you're continuously having this conversation over and over and over and getting to the point where you feel like you're begging your partner for just the basic essentials of love and care and the commitment to the relationship, it's time to go. Number 2, it's time to leave the relationship if your partner is suffering from some sort of past trauma, past hurt that they're not willing to seek help on. Listen, we've all been through different things. Nobody's life is perfect. We not only have our own past for being young adults, but we all have childhoods and we all grew up differently. And I've been in therapy myself, so I understand 100% that a lot of times we go through things and not everybody just bounces back. Sometimes you really do need some help with kind of moving past those things. There are lots of things that we go through as kids, lots of things that we go through as adults. And hey, I'll be the first to admit, sometimes you struggle and you might need some help. It might be something that you're not able to overcome all on your own. I'm a firm believer of prayer, but I also believe that there are people right here on earth in person that are here for that sole purpose for us to go in and to seek help from. If you've recognized that your partner is truly really struggling with something that has happened in their past, some sort of hurt, some sort of trauma, and it's causing them to show up in a negative way in that relationship and causing them to lack the capacity or the capability to love you in the way that you truly desire and need to be loved, if they refuse to get that help, if they refuse to take that next step, not only for themselves, but in order to maintain the relationship, it's time to go. Number 3, it's time to leave the relationship if every time you try to talk to your partner about how you feel or to share any concerns that you may have, you feel dismissed. If that person is dismissing things that you say and how you're feeling about different things, you don't feel like you have a word or a say-so within the relationship, it's time to leave. A relationship can only work if there's communication and open communication. Both people should be able to share how they're feeling, whether it be good or bad or indifferent. And that other person should be willing to hear them out, to show some level of empathy, to show some level of understanding. But if you're in a relationship where you feel like when you share your feelings that it's going to cause an argument, you're maybe going to have to deal with your partner ignoring you or whatever tactics that they use, to keep from holding themselves accountable. Ultimately, if every single time you sit your partner down and you try to have a conversation about how you feel, maybe there's some sort of behavior or something that they're doing on a consistent basis that, makes you feel a way. Maybe it's a trigger for you from something that you're in the process or you've healed from. That person should be willing to hear you out. And if they're not, that's a clear sign that they lack accountability, and that this is someone that you're never really going to have a real voice in a relationship with. You're always going to have to keep your feelings and bottle them up, which we all know is not a good thing to do. If you're in a relationship, communication has to be sort of that glue that holds you guys together. If there's no communication, if that person can share how they're feeling, but you can't share how you're feeling, it's really not a good place to be, which brings me to number 4. You no longer feel safe emotionally with them. What do I mean by that? A lot of times when people hear the word safe, they think of protection. They think of, being shielded from harm in some sort of physical sense. But safe emotionally just means being with someone that your emotions are safe with. You can cry in front of, you can share how you're feeling with them, and they're not going to use what you tell them against you. They don't use your emotions as a tool to manipulate you. You can literally be yourself. You can be vulnerable. There's nothing that they're going to do in that moment to take that and turn it around and to, again, hold it against you or to try to harm you based on what they know about you. That's feeling emotionally safe. It simply just means that your emotions are safe in that person's arms. Your emotions are safe in that person's presence. And that's a huge thing that I don't think that we think about a whole lot in relationships, but it's really, really important. Not only that women feel safe, but also men feel safe emotionally with a woman, and being confident in the fact that, you know, his emotions are safe in her presence as well. And lastly, but that probably should have been first, you realize that you and your partner are no longer not only compatible, but you no longer share the same values, morals, or belief systems. Again, I think this is something that a lot of people, even like I did in this list, put it at the bottom. But to really be honest with you, it should really be at the top. It should be one of those top, I would say, 1 to 3 things that you look for in somebody when you meet them. And again, I'm not talking out the side of my neck right now. I am honestly sharing with you things that I've learned from my last relationship. When it ended, these are things that I really had to sit down and evaluate and think about. Not sitting and focusing on placing the blame on this person and what they did wrong, but looking at, hey, what did I learn from this situation? What should I have known right away? What were clear-cut signs that if I had have listened to a video like this, or if I'd had a conversation with someone, that I might have been able to walk away sooner? If you realize that you and your partner are not equally yoked, for those that are not familiar with that term, just means that you guys are the same spiritually. Maybe it's that you guys do share the same religion. Ultimately, you both believe in whatever it is that you believe in. When talking about belief systems, we're not even just talking about, God or in that sort of perspective, but thinking about, how do you look at the world? A pessimistic person versus, a person who believes in abundance and who believes in growth, and a person who believes in, being grateful for what you have, and that being grateful will bring more blessings unto you. Like, you have two people with two polar opposite belief systems on life, and the way that people behave, and the way that people live, and the way that they think. That can be a really, really big hindrance on the relationship if you don't share those same things. If you guys don't value the same things in life, you don't, maybe one partner values family, the other doesn't. One values, respect or respect of elders, one person doesn't. Those might seem like small things, but they are really, really big in the grand scheme of things. I hope that if you stayed to the end, that you found something helpful out of this. I hope that if you're in a situation right now and you're noticing some of these things that I've just listed as clear-cut signs, not that you'll necessarily leave right away because you saw 1 or 2 or them were on your list right now, but that it will at least cause you to sit back and think and reflect and really evaluate if this is a good relationship for you. And if it is, hopefully you guys can work it out, because I 100% believe in love, and I love to see two people in love. At the same time, I'm a true believer that life is short, and that you want to live it being with someone that makes you happy, someone that challenges you, someone that, brings positivity to your life and makes you want to be a better person. I don't at all co-sign for, staying in relationships where you feel miserable, where you're not happy. I don't advise anybody to stay in those relationships. And I know we stay for all sorts of reasons, kids, financial situations, you name it. We stay for a lot of different reasons. But what I will say is, if you're in a relationship and you're not happy, look at the reasons why you're not happy. And at the end of the day, I think the ultimate determination if you should leave or you should stay is your partner willing to work with you? Is your partner hearing you out? And are they willing to put in the work that it might take to get you guys to a better place in your relationship? If they're not willing, I'm gonna tell you right now, you can't fight by yourself. So I truly hope this video helped you in some sort of way. And if so, I hope to see you guys in the next video.